Now, this is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you. Now, recent news came out that millionaires now make over $5 million a year will be taxed 62% for living in California. So, you're a little out of the camera. Can you take a step this way? Now, this breaking news. If you make more than $5 million a year in the state of California, the government will take 62% of your income. So I'm out here talking to some of the local millionaires about this. Jack, now how will this affect you and your restaurants, you know, if they're going to be taxing you 62% on all your earnings?
Well, I couldn't speak for the board itself, but as a whole, it's terrible because the reason being is it's become more of a socialist kind of state because the thing is, obviously for years, the rich has kept everything going. But with that said, what ends up happening is it's an Obama plan. If you look at the documentary 2016, it'll all lay it out for you. Now, the problem is you can't keep taxing the rich and keep taxing the rich. It's like all the jobs that went to California because they kept taxing and taxing have left. And it'll be the same thing in this country. This country's already been deteriorated so much by the government. And 62% is just enormous because that's basically them saying or controlling what Jack in the Box executives are going to make. What Jack in the Box, the board can only make. You cannot, any conglomerate, you cannot make someone just take the money or take 62% away from them or tell them how much money or dictate how much money they can make, especially within stockholders like a conglomerate like Jack in the Box or whether it's Burger King or McDonald's. You can't do that to the executives. What everybody has to do is stop believing the media, stay away from the media, which is all really one big propaganda, all right, because we blow up something that's so small to so gigantic. Executives, look, executives are paid to make money and paid to make decisions like boardroom members. So with that said is let the boardroom, let the executives, let the CEOs just do their job. Everybody get out of their way because the more you do that, then production, it's like the flow. The water goes down the waterfall. It goes down the chain of command. But once you start dictating what a conglomerate, whether it's Colgate, H&P, IBM, Jack in the Box, or Wendy's, and dictate, well, you know what? You can only make so much money a year, and then we're going to hit you with 62%, and that's ludicrous because that's basically...
Now, what do you think about, like, for example, people are leaving the state of California. There's several basketball players in California and Los Angeles living in Colorado for 6 months and 1 day simply to avoid the taxes here. We recently had a college football athlete choose to go to play in another state because he didn't want to pay the high taxes in California. And then, you know, in France, taxes are 75% on the wealthy. So former French President Nicolas Sarkozy is actually moving to England, to pay lower taxes. We have a famous French actor, you know, instead of paying 75% in France, he's moving to Russia to pay 13%. What do you think? Will you leave the United States and maybe move somewhere else because of these higher taxes?
I can't speak for myself. I can't speak for Jack in the Box Incorporated, but all the other people that you did mention to me, that's a smart move because that's business. People have to realize it's business, but when you have the government dictating how much money you can make, then that level, you're going to lose so many people, so many companies, so many jobs, and we're all right now about creating jobs. So you end up keeping a lower level of person suppressed. But what you told me to reiterate and to go back, it's a very smart move, business move. There were two very wealthy people. The individual who was one of the Facebook founders on the IPO to avoid taxes, I think it was, I don't know if it was 13 million or 60 million, he gave up his citizenship and moved to Spain. Which is smart.
Or, I think it was Singapore, but yeah, you're right. I've heard, I've known several millionaires moving to other countries.
It's a smart move because this country is dilapidated so much, and our civil rights have been taken away so much by taxation it's almost like everybody, I'm surprised there's not much more outcry, because everybody seems to be in this like one big sleep.
Now, the typical argument is tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the more, but no one ever really says a number. What do you think would be a fair rate for people making over 5 million? And then what would be a fair rate for people making, you know, most people in America make about 35,000. What would be a fair rate for 35,000 people? What would be a fair rate for 5 million people?
No, basically what it goes down to, you have to go back to like pre-Clinton. Before Clinton, because Clinton really spun off that whole tax the rich really deeply. He started with 30 or 40%, which is ludicrous. You have to basically leave the rich alone, let them do what they do best. These are very, very, very intelligent people. You know, these people didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't get to where they didn't get to where they are now by being fools. You have to just leave them alone, go back to pre-Clinton, his terms, and where the money was just flowing, because those dollars, all it is just creating one big circle, one big washing machine, a cycle. And we need that more than anything now.
This is getting long. I didn't think it would. Holy crap. So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say to the folks about this or any other subject?
Yeah, by all means. Right now you have to be an entrepreneur. If you have an idea, throw it out there. You have nothing to lose. But play it smart. Look globally. Look internationally. The global economy, because since 2008, when the crash happened, everything is totally different. You have to think outside the box to make money now.
Outside the box.
No pun intended. But you have to literally think outside the box and give it your best. You've got nothing to lose, but think globally. The United States, so far from what in these next 3 to 4 years, is going to be shot. It'll be a totally different level of economy, culture, and class. There will be no middle class anymore. It'll be low and high. So to everybody out there, you've got nothing to lose. Throw an idea out there, but think globally. If your idea can work here, what makes you think it won't work in Russia, Singapore, Japan, England?
So in closing, this is Clark Kent. I'm the Predatory Lending Network, signing out.